check out the brand new 50mm T1 Prime from NiSi.
You're watching CineD, supported by B&H and CVP.
Hey everybody, Graham Ayler-Sheldon here at NAB 2026. We're back on the show floor. We're in the NiSi booth. I'm joined by Kenji from NiSi to talk about a 50mm T1, not a typo, T1.
T1.0, that's right.
Ooh, okay, I mean that's the banner headline right out of the gate, the fact that you guys somehow managed to get to a T1 in a 50mm. So tell me everything. I have many questions.
Okay, of course. So you've already nailed the most important feature of the lens, the T1. However, this lens, unlike a lot of other lenses at this speed that you might be familiar with, this one is very, very usable, wide open at T1.0. ACs don't need to be afraid of this lens either. This lens has a cam focus mechanism in it that makes it much easier to nail focus wide open, as we've devoted half of the focus rotation of this lens to the most important areas, distances that an AC is going to need to pull focus in.
Oh, that's a great idea. So it's not uniform throughout the rotation. Okay.
Yeah,
that's cool.
We've also got a, we've opted not to use any aspherical elements in this particular lens, which has been a challenge to achieve this feat. But without the A-spheres, we continue to have a very creamy bokeh, even wide open, versus a lot of like onion skinning and over-textured bokeh from other very fast lenses.
Now, you mentioned that, so I guess historically, famously, at T1, some of the most famous examples of this out there tend to get really crazy at T1. So you're saying that there is a consistent sharpness edge to edge at T1?
Oh yeah, yep.
Okay.
You got it. This lens is remarkably sharp wide open at T1. I encourage you to try it yourself, Graham, while you're here, because it will give you a very clean, usable shot at T1 and will give you a modern feel. We're not trying to recreate other lenses that are out there. We're trying to make something new with this, and I think we've succeeded.
Well, so Kenji, you brought up something interesting there. So it's not necessarily intended to match any other NiSi Prime, right? It's supposed to be its own thing. Is that true from a color perspective as well?
No, the color is actually going to match very similar to like the Aureus family of lenses. The difference is, of course, this is going to look different at a 1.0, and unlike Aureus, this is an LPL mount. So this lens, PL is a little too narrow for this large rear lens element to fit. We do, however, have a variety of LPL to mirrorless mounts coming out. Here at the show, we're showing prototypes for an LPL to GFX mount and an LPL to E mount, but we also have several other mounts that are coming with the launch of this lens.
Interesting. Okay, so something to keep in mind, it is LPL, so consider that when you're adapting to anything other than obviously ARRI. Okay, so yeah, I'm nervous. You have a 50mm right out of the gate. I know it's a little early to ask, do you have plans for any other focal lengths? And then I also want to know, what image circle exactly can you cover with the 50mm T1?
Okay, those are great questions, Graham. So this lens will cover, this lens covers 46mm plus, a little over 46. It is going to cover all of your full frame sensors, no problem. This lens actually is working on the Eterna and covering the Eterna in open gate.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Which is a 55 diagonal on that sensor. This is also working on the Blackmagic 17K. It's not quite as big a circle as our 65 Prime that you looked at yesterday. However, this is covering, aside from maybe Alexa 265, this is covering all your modern cameras.
Yeah, that's
and
great.
To answer your other question regarding focal lengths, we plan on at least 2 additional focal lengths that are T1.0s to fill out this family.
Can I guess, like the common trio, maybe 35, maybe 85? Is that what you guys are talking about?
Those are very good maybes.
Okay, all right.
Leading candidate is probably 35.
Okay.
Leading candidate is probably something a little longer. 75 is something that has been talked about a lot. However, like the 65 Prime lenses, we're taking advantage of all of you guys here at NAB this week to get feedback. What are the focal lengths that you would want to see at T1.0?
Well, let me answer for all of you guys. We want to see all the focal lengths in T1. So Kenji, I saved you a bit of time there.
There
Fantastic.
we go.
And again, another nervous question. What about price point and then availability for just the 50?
Ooh, that's a lot of lens right there.
I know.
A lot of lens usually has a lot of price associated with it.
Okay.
However, in NiSi style, we want to make this lens as affordable as possible to reach as many people as possible. So this lens is actually going to be coming out in August. Price is $2,799. And during an AB, we're taking deposits to get in line for this lens for only $50.
I'm gonna leave Kenji over there for a second, and we just put the 50mm T1 on a mini LF. The edges don't look weird, you know, there's none of those strange little artifacting that you get. The bokeh looks beautiful. There's kind of a Christmas, you know, light setup behind our model here. And the eyes are very sharp. I mean, you see the eyelashes, you see the eyebrows. It looks great. And this seems like a thing where I'm going to get carried away shooting everything at T1 and someone's going to have to pull me back. All right, back to, I'm going to join Kenji again. That was really cool. I'm pumped. You guys are going big. I appreciate it. Anything else we should mention, Kenji, before we sign off? You nailed it.
Yeah, I think we're pretty good, Graham. If you guys want to come check out on the other adapters that we have, we encourage people to try this on your own cameras. So if you've got E-mount cameras, if you've got GF mount cameras, we've got the adapters here in the booth to try them out. A lot of people have been putting this on the Eterna to test, is this really covering, and what does a T1.0 look like on that size sensor in open gate? Yes, it covers, and it looks crazy creamy, because on that, it turns into an equivalent look of around like a 0.79, I want to say.
This is crazy talk. This is crazy. I think that's a great place to leave it, Kenji. And as Kenji says, ACs shouldn't be afraid of the T1 Prime from NiSi. Kenji, thank you so much. That's it for us here at the NiSi booth at NAB 2026. If you have more ideas for focal lengths for the NiSi team here that should be in T1, let them know. Thanks for watching, everybody.